Hi, I'm Scoot, and welcome to the Scoot on the Air YouTube channel. This is another episode of The Truth Behind the Microphone. And what I do with this YouTube channel is it gives me a chance to extend my radio show on WWL in New Orleans. It's WWL, AM, FM, and radio.com. And if you're watching from somewhere else and you want to join my radio show on WWL, download the app radio.com and then type in WWL. And I'm on the air from 1 to 4 Central Time, 1 to 4 New Orleans time, every afternoon. So thank you for being with me here on YouTube channel. And I think I'm up to, 900, I'm sorry, not 900, 393 subscribers. I'm trying to get to 400. I need your help. So if there's anything about what I talk about that might interest you, then I would love for you to become a subscriber and share it with your friends as well. We are working on the beginning of a set for this. We'll have a set. So it's going to be a little different than this, and you will have been on the ground floor. Let me just share a big topic on my radio show today, that it's really a topic that explains the mood in America. It's about the NASCAR driver, Bubba Wallace. And some of the texts and some of the calls that I received on my radio show today just really prove how totally biased people can be and how little people care about the facts. Now, I don't know about other radio talk show hosts. I can't speak for them. And I know some radio talk show hosts are so full of BS that, they probably just feed into the rhetoric. But I'm a radical moderate. I'm a registered independent. And I call out both parties. So, I'm not sucking up to either party. And I try not to get involved in the political tribalism of politics today. So I don't know, maybe I'm more sensitive to all of this. So the NASCAR driver, Bubba Wallace, who was the one who told NASCAR, hey, you really should ban the Confederate flag. And NASCAR did. NASCAR banning the Confederate flag. So you can imagine that a lot of NASCAR fans were upset because that's their flag. So NASCAR bans the Confederate flag. And so then there's a story in the news about a noose being found in the stall in the garage of Bubba Wallace at the Talladega Superspeedway in Alabama. A noose. And so now it turns out that the noose was actually put there last October, last year. And so it could not have been a message to Bubba Wallace. Simple enough, right? The FBI investigated, and this is what they determined. Well, people are pissed off because they still want to blame Bubba Wallace for creating this controversy. They want to blame him. They want to say he's a racist and that he started this. And a few people have insanely compared him to Jesse Smollett of Chicago, who faked a hate crime against him to get publicity for his career. Bubba Wallace is not a Jesse Smollett situation. First of all, here are the facts. The facts are that a crew member of Bubba Wallace discovered a noose. And look, I don't know that much about NASCAR racing, but there's a garage. I've had a garage before. There's a rope to pull the garage door open. And at the end of that, there was what appeared to be a noose. Wallace is a black driver. You know the relationship between a noose and blacks. It's about death. It's essentially a death threat. So a crew member notices this, and they don't want to overreact, and Bubba Wallace doesn't want to overreact. So it's turned over to, I think, that a crew chief. Before it even got to Bubba Wallace, it went to the head of NASCAR. The head of NASCAR. He saw this, and according to the story, with tears in his eyes, told Bubba Wallace that there was this hate crime against him because of the news. The FBI investigates. And as it turns out, it was not a hate crime. It was something that was put there last October. Still pretty damn disturbing, right? I mean, anything that resembles a noose in 2019 or 2020, I mean, that's kind of an ugly message. Anyway, but there was so much criticism on my show today because it was as if Bubba Wallace is to blame. And there are people who want to still blame him for this. This had nothing to do with him. He did not even report it. He didn't see it at first. NASCAR saw it. And in these sensitive times in which we live, there's oversensitivity. I agree. We're overly sensitive to issues right now. But that's just because of the times that we live in. And so something that appears to be a noose in a black driver's garage is going to be interpreted a certain way. And so it was looked into, and the record was set straight. I even had somebody try to, on my Facebook page, get upset with me because I can't believe Scoot spent all this time on his radio show talking about something that wasn't true. Well, one of my sources for the story about Bubba Wallace was foxnews.com. Now, I'm not a reporter, but Fox News and news services, they've got reporters. So they go out and find stories, and they find credible sources, and they bring the stories back. And I get stories like this and, comment on stories on my talk show. Generally speaking, I consider foxnews.com, the website, to be a credible source. So when they have this story about this noose in Bubba Wallace's stall in his garage, I think it's legitimate. As it turned out, it wasn't. So the definition of fake news is to continue a story that you know is not true. And it was corrected, not only by me, but by foxnews.com and by everybody. But the point that I'm trying to make is that there are people who they want to ignore the facts. And all they want to think about is what they want to be true. And they want Bubba Wallace to be the bad guy. And he's not. And there's no proof that he is. But there's this insistence on finding what you need to find to confirm your bias, to confirm what you already want to believe. And I don't know about other talk show hosts, but I can tell you, for me, this is maddening. It really is. I love what I do. And I enjoy what I do every day. But, just like with you at work, some days are tougher than others. And when, the idiocracy rises to a certain level, it is so difficult to just navigate through that every day. One guy's on the air talking for 3 minutes. I had him on the air, call for 3 minutes. Look, this is something else you need. This is another truth behind the microphone. I have breaks that I have to get to. There are commercial breaks. There's a news break. I don't make up the logs. That's how the radio station makes money. I have breaks that I have to get to. And the convenient cop-out always is, oh, well, you cut that guy off because you didn't like his opinion. I have to get to breaks. And sometimes I really go longer than I should go and go into the break late, even with people who totally disagree with me. So this guy's on the air trying to tell me that he hasn't had a chance, that I won't let him express his opinion. He's been on the air for 3 minutes. He's repeated the same stuff 3 or 4 times. He very, very well articulated. That's not the right kind of grammar. It's late in the day. I told you it was a tough day. He very articulately explained his opinion, and this was about statues, and he was making a very irrational argument about not taking the statues down. And again, he started repeating himself. I was already late going into a break and had to go into a break. But here's a guy on the air who's been on the air for 3 minutes saying, well, you're not letting me express my opinion. You gave your opinion. We disagree. And so here's the truth behind the microphone. If a talk show host like myself disagrees with you, but you've had time to get on the air and express your opinion, first of all, give that talk show host credit for letting you on the air. Because there could be a call screener that would say, I don't want anybody on the air who disagrees with me. I just want people who agree with me. You could screen calls. It's legal. We don't do that on our show. The only screening is knowing your name and where you're calling from and what you want to talk about. But I don't know the opinions of people. I know subject matter on the screen, but I don't know what their opinion is. So constantly people are on my show that disagree with me. But the assumption is, you're not fair. What, because we disagree? Or I don't give you enough time because we disagree. Sometimes I raise my voice a little. I'm a human being. And I believe in my conviction. And sometimes callers raise their voice at me too. That's called just being human. Let me read a couple of these comments. People just noticed Blizzard. I'm not really sure what that means. Another comment, people are quick to blame without the facts. Another comment, as a former talk show host, callers don't understand that the show doesn't revolve around them. Amen to Southside Central. Yes, the show doesn't revolve around you. We'll let you on. You express your opinion, but I wanted to just make this another episode of The Truth Behind the Microphone by talking about how, again, on my show and on a lot of shows, you can express your opinions, but the talk show host has to get to breaks. It doesn't mean you're being cut off. There are some people that I've cut off. I haven't really hung up on them, but I've just ended the call. I'm done. I guess a few times I've hung up on people because they're just that extreme. It's just that stupid. So yeah, I've cut off callers. If a caller says something that is just so stupid and so ridiculous that we have no grounds for a conversation, it's rare, but I don't even want to talk to them. There's no need for the conversation. I love the people who disagree with me because I think that's what makes the show exciting. And people who disagree are more likely to call than the people who agree with you. And I get a lot of people who agree with me. So what makes the show fun is the disagreement. But what I don't like is the ignoring of facts to fit your bias. Let's have different opinions, but let's agree on the facts. And people don't. I'll tell you, the same people who are not wearing a mask because Trump doesn't wear a mask are the same people that would be criticizing you for not wearing a mask if Trump wore a mask. And this should not be about politics. It should be about health. And the coronavirus numbers are rising in a lot of different states. We're doing okay here in Louisiana. We're doing okay in New Orleans, but it's not great. And some people have turned this into nothing more than a political battleground. And it shouldn't be. It should be about what's best. And the biggest increase in coronavirus cases is among the age group 18 to 29. Now, chances are they're going to live through this and not end up in the hospital. It's good that they're not going to end up in the hospital. But, if you're young and you get this, there are doctors that say this can have a lasting impact on your body. This can have a lasting impact on your lungs to where when you get a little older, you may have problems. So even if you're younger and you're going to live through it, you shouldn't want to go through it. And I know somebody who's dealing with this now. She's a nurse. This person was extremely careful. And it happened. If it happened to her, it can happen to you. I wear a mask. I social distance. But it could happen to me. If it does happen to me, it's not going to be because I wasn't careful. It's going to be because it just happened. A woman called my show today. She was in the hospital for, I think, 35 days. She was on a ventilator. There were times that she didn't know if she was going to make it, and her family was told she may not live till tomorrow. And they couldn't go see her. But she got through it. After 35 days, she got out of the hospital, had to have part of her finger amputated because of some complication with what happened. This is serious. I mean, some people can act like it's a big joke, but it's not. Some people can act like they're bigger than it, but they're not. The disease is bigger than you. So I'm going to continue to do what I think is best. You continue to do what you think is best. Let's just respect each other. If you're not going to wear a mask, if you're not going to social distance, then stay away from me. And, if I'm wearing a mask, and if I'm social distancing, believe me, I'm not coming anywhere near you. So the next YouTube episode will be Saturday, and it will be another episode of The Truth Behind the Microphone, a Scoot story. And what I'm doing is I'm sharing some stories about my career that are interesting. Some are designed to be motivating and to just let you know the truth about what has gone on in my life, and this is a way of you being able to relate to me, and I go through a lot of the things that you go through as well. So sometimes the stories are fun and crazy, and sometimes it's just about some of the challenges that I've had in my business, and I'm sure in some ways they parallel the challenges that you've had in your business. So thank you for being with me here. You can go back and check some of the videos. They're titled, and you can check some of the videos that we've had on here. And again, we're building a set. Well, we're not building a set. We're going to kind of order some things, okay? And we're going to make this bigger than it is now. I'd love to get to 400. Maybe tonight's the night. We're at 393. So look, if any of this seems like it's going to be interesting to you as time goes on, and you want an alert every time we post something, then subscribe. It's free, but just become one of our subscribers. It's the Scoot on the Air YouTube channel. And I thank you for being with me. Join me on Facebook. It's also Scoot on the Air. I'll be on tomorrow morning live about 9 o'clock. And then I'm about to go on my Instagram account, which is also Scoot on the Air. So thank you guys for being with me. Stay safe.